Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Global AI Notes. And before I forget, I hope you all enjoyed the festive season. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when or where you are watching this. Today, we're inviting another guest, just as we did last year, and we're happy to have Xiaoying today with us. Good morning, Xiaoying from Seattle. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Sammy, and Happy New Year, everyone. This is Xiaoying.
Thank you very much. You're doing well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, although I'm located in Seattle, and you know the weather of Seattle in the winter, so I'm more jealous regard to like the sunny weather on your side in California. But like everything is awesome.
Yeah, well, it's for me. It's also only temporary, but we're glad to be here. Now, please introduce yourself, Xiaowing. Who are you? What do
Yep.
you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm the principal PM manager for Azure AI Language. It's part of the Azure AI organization in Microsoft. And I've been in Microsoft working for more than 16 years and working on different things. So starting back to 6, 7 years back, I started working on the AI specific product. So working on different AI product, including like the Power Virtual Agent, customer service insights as part of Dynamics 365. And now I'm leading the PM team in Azure AI Language.
Okay, so you've really been seeing all the changes that are going on in the Microsoft AI stack.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
you can it's you hard to imagine like how fast the AI can be involved, especially in the natural language understanding and generation space.
yeah. I think if you look at 2023, it was a revolution that went very, very fast.
Yeah.
Now, today you want to talk about the Azure AI Language Studio,
Uh-huh. Yes,
or what?
specifically for the Azure AI Language service. And I'll certainly also mention a little bit about the Language Studio. That's one of the tools that we're providing there.
Okay, well, I'll share your screen and I'm looking forward to learn more about that.
Sounds like fun. Awesome. So let's get started. We actually have a very content-packed like the session today. So let's get ready. And first of all, about a little bit about the Azure AI language. And today, like I know the world is changing a lot regarding to the AI, and everybody is talking about the large language model, the generative AI, GPT, and the other large language models as well. And in addition to that, we also offer the Azure AI language because the language AI is not only just for the generative AI, it's also cover a lot of different things. And here in the Azure AI language, we provide the large language model powered, but doing more things like with more different types of models to go domain specific and task specific across all we call the language skills, as you can see on the right side of these slides. So it's a unified service as part of Azure AI. It used to be called cognitive service. So we recently like rebranding that to everything called Azure AI in last year. And all the skills here support multilingual. So a lot of them support more than 90, even 100 of the languages empowered by Z Code and Z Code++. That's a large language model in addition to some of them powered by the fine-tuned GP models as well. And a lot of them provide the pre-built skills. As I mentioned, it's task specific and domain specific. So we'll fine-tune the model further to make that working out of the box very well regarding to the quality, regarding to the latency for specific tasks. And also will provide the customization experience. That's the language studio that Sammy just mentioned. And it provides a lot of experience, allow you to like try out different skills in the playground, and also to build your own model customization project and allow you to easily custom the model using your own business data. And last but not least, quite a few of them providing the containers in addition to the web hosted service as well to allow customers make your own choice. Either you want to simply call the API from the web hosted services, or if you have some compliance requirements regarding to all the data boundary to be inside of your on-premise server, we also provide a container option for you as well. So in today's session, I'm not like, because of the time, I'm not able to like go through everything in the Azure AI language because there are a lot, but let's go in deep regard to the key challenges and the key scenarios we've been observing from the industry. And I'm going to pick a few language skills that we offer today one by one and go deep for those ones as an example, so you can get a better idea about, with all different type of the AI models, language, especially for the language models and AI technologies, how we can build a better language AI apps today. So that including the contact center kinetics, the chatbot, data anonymization, which becomes more and more popular with the large language model in the world, and also the document search discovery scenario. So the first one is about the contact center call analytics. So it's all about to leveraging the natural language understanding and generation to identify the insights and doing the analytics to help agent to be able to respond to the customer faster and focusing on more complicated tasks, and also allow the supervisors to easily understand the insights and identify what kind of the actions they should take to help agent to better support the customers. And in the language AI, in the Azure AI language, there are a few things you can consider. One is about the conversation summarization, that is to automatically summarize a conversation from the contact center or from any conversations, and to quickly help the agent to wrap up the cases, or to help the supervisors to easily understand a conversation without looking to the details from like listening to the complete call or looking to the whole transcript. And then sentiment analysis and opinion mining help to quickly identify what is the sentiment level of the customer. And in addition to that, also provide some capability to identify why the customer is happy or like is not happy. And then another thing is about the name entity recognition, we call it NER. We also provide the model customization capability with that to quickly extract some of the relevant entities that you make here in the contact center scenarios. And another thing is about the conversational language understanding. That one I will save for later. And so let's go to those ones one by one. So the first of all is the summarization in Azure AI language. And summarization is part of the generative AI. In here, we're leveraging the power of the GPT because we know GPT models can do the generative AI so well. And in order to make that work even better in the summarization space and also provide the quick response and with even better quality, like less hallucination, we go further to fine-tune the GPT models to make that work specifically well for different type of the summarization scenarios. And the end result is that it can help to accelerate your time of the value, because you don't need to go to complicated prompt engineering. You don't even need to learn the prompt engineering, just calling the API and provide the parameters to tell the API what exactly kind of the summarization you want, because we provide the out-of-the-box summarization styles, and we call the aspects. That's different types of the summarization that you can choose. And also it provides the longer documents, which specifically fine-tuned for the summarization. And for now, it supports up to 125,000 characters. And based on the customer needs, we're expanding that in the future. And also, of course, it supports multiple languages. And in order to make sure the language quality is very well, we either further fine-tune on different type of the language. And for now, we further fine-tune for the top 10 language we learned from the market. So that covers, in addition to the English, it supports much better in Chinese, Korean, French, Italian, etc. So you can find all the supported languages from our documentation as well. And of course, it also supports multiple regions similar to the other Azure services. And also, as I mentioned, it supports the web server, the web hosted service, and also provide the containers. And we also provide a distilled model from the large language model to make that model smaller, so it can be wrapped into a container that you can use to host not only just in the GPU, and you can actually also host that in the CPU, because it relaxes your demand for the compute power. So for the container options, we'll provide both the computing options, including the GPU and CPU for you to choose. So speaking of the conversation summarization, and here is a very quick overview regarding to what kind of the fine-tuned pre-built aspects and types that are already supported today. And from the screenshot, as you can see, the left screenshot is a app, like a demo app actually we built for the general conversation summarization. So it's the talking about any meeting scenarios. It can be any of the topic discussed in the meetings. In the conversation summarization provides we call the first is the recap that provides a one paragraph, very short summary to help the people quickly understand what exactly things is covered for this meeting. And then go deeper, it also provides a segmentation we call the chapters to segment a long conversation, long meeting into different topics based on the topic discussed in the meeting. And also, of course, it provides the timestamp so the users can easily like click and jump to any given time of the topic or the chapter in the conversation. And in addition to that, it also provides more detailed summaries across the conversation. We call that narrative. So it'll list down the details regarding to like which people is talking about what kind of things, and especially when it's used together with the chapters, it can provide the next level of the details regarding to the summary in the conversation. And also provides the follow-up tasks that's about like any type of the action items identified from the conversation and being talked by different speakers. And specifically for the customer support scenarios, the Azure AI Language API also supports issues and the resolution to further like summarize the customer issues discussed in a customer support call, and also what kind of the resolution that agent provides to the customer. So that's actually will provide a very good wrap up for the cases at the end of the call from the agent. So that's about the conversation summarization. And the next one is about the sentiment analysis and opinion mining. And as I mentioned, the sentiment analysis skill provides different levels of the sentiment, including like positive, negative, neutral, and based on the sentence level sentiment, the service also summarize and provide a document level sentiment. So if like there are different type of the sentences provide both positive and negative sentences, then at the document level, the service will summarize that to a mixed sentiment. Just give a like better idea about how the sentiment may look like from a given like user utterance or given paragraph. But in addition to that, we also provide opinion mining. So using the extraction instead of generative today to extract the key subjects and also the objective, that is, we call the assessment from the users to describe why the user sentiment can be positive or negative. And here on the right side, there's a paragraph, like there's a graph that we actually generated from our testing data. And you can see like it provides the different sentiment levels between negative, positive, neutral, but also it extracts the key subject. And this is all about like different thousands of the comments people are talking about between different cities and how they feel and think about different cities. So on the left side, it shows the subjects regarding to the city's name extracted by the service. And on the right side, it shows how exactly people are describing that. So for example, here, the Barcelona, a lot of people is describing that like it's great, it's recommended, they really love it. So it can provide the next level of the transparency to the supervisors to understand better about what exact things people are talking about. And of course, it supports like more than 90 languages, similar to the other language skills supported in the Azure AI Language. And next is about the name entity recognition. And it's all about to extract the entities from a given piece of the text. And the beauty of this is that, as I mentioned, we provide a lot of preview skills. So for the NER service provided by the Azure AI Language, today it supports more than 30 predefined entity categories plus the subcategories under each of the categories. And also supports like close to like 80 languages fine-tuned today. And this is a list about all the entities we supported today in the GA API. And in addition to that, we'll also provide the preview APIs, which we are still like looking for more customer feedback, and once we believe the quality is in a good shape, then we'll also push that to the GA. And one of the capability that is available in preview is we call the resolution. So this is about, for some of the given entities, it'll resolve the values identified for those entities into standard format. And for example, like when people are talking about numbers like the people's ages, the transcript or the given piece of text, it can like reading that into a English word or in any other language word, or it can be given as a number. And then the resolution in NER can resolve that into the integer number 80. And similar to the datetime, people can talk about the datetime in different ways. It can be like January 18th, as in one example, or people can talk about 1/18/2024. And for any types of the ways like people are talking about the datetime, it will resolve that to a standard datetime format. And the benefit for that is that if you like to go further to leverage those values extracted from a user utterance to trigger any automation, then this provides you an easy and standard way for you to get those numbers in the standard format and then to run the following automations. And also, as I mentioned, the NER provides the custom capabilities. So this is a standard process the language service provides today, allow any people, like not necessarily to be the data scientist, it simplified the overflow for even like developers can easily pick it up and provide, just upload the data and then to label or tag the necessary data like the entities here. And then the Language Studio provide the tooling for it to easily trigger the training and then provide the recommendation regarding to how you can further improve the data set or to improve the model based on the evaluation result and allow you to test that and go ahead to deploy that as well. So as I mentioned, the Language Studio is the tool for that. And for the custom NER, the recommendation is for each of the entity, it will be good to have around like 80 tagged labels, or we call the instances here, for the training purpose to get the best quality. And regarding to the customized models, we'll also have two public preview features available today. One is leveraging the power of the large language model using the Azure AI, Azure OpenAI. So if you have an Azure OpenAI resource, then you can leverage that to automatically generate the entity labels for you. And then the only way you need to do is once it's generated, to review that to make sure the high quality of the training data. And then you can certainly it will help you to reduce the labeling time, because as we learned from the customer, data labeling certainly will take most of the time during the model training. And another is about an experience to integrate with the Azure Machine Learning Studio to further optimize the group labeling experience, especially for customers who have a large group of the people doing the data labeling, or they want to find some outsourcing resources for the external data labelers to label the data. Then from within the Language Studio, we also provide an integration point to sync the data between the Language Studio and Azure Machine Learning Workspace. So we can leverage the Azure Machine Learning Workspace with its capability like the Azure Marketplace, etc., to do the group labeling. So here I have a very short demo video regarding to how the Azure OpenAI can help the custom NER to do the auto data labeling. So you can get a better idea about how the Language Studio looks like and how you can leverage the Azure OpenAI to do the data labeling. I'm going to play the video now.
Now I'm going to log into Azure AI Language Studio to open a custom named entity recognition project. Azure AI for Language offers a variety of different language services. As you can see here, we have an option for summarizing your text, document translation, and many more, all of which you can try out here in Language Studio. In this video, we'll be focusing on named entity recognition, or NER, abbreviated, also known as NER, to extract keywords and phrases out of text documents. We offer both pre-built named entity recognition, which will have a list of predefined categories, which we've already trained a model to recognize. So things like person, geographic location, and phone numbers. But In this scenario, since we're loan issuers at a bank with a very specific scenario, we want to be identifying new custom categories that aren't on a predefined list, like loan amount and borrower name. So we'll be creating a custom named entity recognition project. Now that we've opened a project, we can see here in the middle, we have 3 documents, which we've already uploaded. Here on the right, I've already gone in to list out the custom entities which we want to be extracting. So things like loan amount, interest percentage, lender name, lender address. And then on the left here, we have individual tabs for each of the various steps in creating a model, all within Language Studio. So we have a step for data labeling, training your model, checking your model performance, deploying your model, and testing your model. I'll now show you our new GPT-assisted data labeling feature for specifically the step of labeling your data before you head into training. I'll start by selecting the Auto Labeling tab, then selecting Trigger Auto Label. And you can see here we have this option for auto labeling with GPT to help speed up your labeling process using Azure OpenAI's GPT technology. I'm going to select my Azure OpenAI resource as well as my Azure OpenAI deployment. I'm going to make sure that all of my entities are selected because I want all of them to be identified within the doc. And then I'm just going to be selecting one of the transcribed loan documents to test. Now I will start the job. Now that we've finished running the job, let's take a look at the results. We can see here on one of these documents that we have a variety of different entities that have been labeled by AI, things like borrower name, lender address, and we can see here with these dotted lines, these show that these entities were suggested by AI, and we can choose with these 2 icons here to either accept or reject the suggestions to help speed up our labeling process and make training and deploying custom models a lot faster.
So that's the end of the demo. And this is like one way that how you can easily to create a custom NER model. And especially like for the entity extraction, it's completely different space from the generative AI because it's more focusing on the problem of the extraction space. So by customizing and creating a specific extraction model for your business, it will help you to get a better quality regarding to the data extraction and also to provide you a smaller model, which is much cheaper than any large language model. So that's the end of the first scenario. And let's do a quick recap. This is the richest scenarios with a lot of capabilities that we're talking about here. So we're looking to, this is actually a mock-up regarding to how you can put everything together into the contact center call analytics. And here we talk about the conversation summarization, which can give you the quick recap and customer issue summaries, resolutions from agent, follow-up tasks, etc. And then we talk about the name entity recognition, which can extract some of the key entities that you may be interested in the call center. For example, what kind of product people are talking about, and roles of the people, the person type, like manager, supervisor, or any other roles of the people the customer has mentioned. And you can highlight those values in the transcript from the speech to text powered by the Azure AI Speech. And last but not least is the sentiment analysis. So the UI here doesn't show the opinion mining, but go further if you would like to highlight what exactly people are talking about when like we show the sentiment levels, you can also leverage the opinion mining to get deeper insights regarding to the subject and their assessment for the subject. So everything here you can try out of the box in the language.azure.com. That's the link for the Language Studio. And for any custom feature, you can also create a project there, as we just saw from the demo. So that's the first scenario. And the next is about the chatbot. And I believe like all of you have already been very familiar regarding to the chatbot scenarios. And here in the Azure AI service, there are quite a few services that you can use, in including the Azure OpenAI on data, and the Azure in the Azure AI language will provide the conversational language understanding. And this service, or we call the CLU language skill, it provides the intent identification and also provide the entity extraction in the conversational scenarios. So as you can see on the right side, when user provide a query, and once you create a custom CLU model, And with your own training data, then it can classify that intent into the bucket you predefined when training the model, and also at the same time recognize the entities to extract some of the values that you're interested to go further to trigger some of the automation flow. And again, like for any custom models provided by the Azure AI Language, as I mentioned, it's a lightweight custom model. It's much cheaper when you're running that, and also the latency is much lower within like milliseconds. So it again, like it also supports the multilingual here across like around close to 100 languages. And what multilingual mean here is that you can, like, if you want to support multiple languages from your custom model, with our multilingual support, you can just pick one language to train the model. For example, just use all the English data to train the model. And then once the model is trained, it will be able to predict in any other languages is supported today. That's more than 96 languages is supported today. It will significantly help you to reduce the time if you want your model to support different languages in the market. And again, like it also supports the Azure OpenAI. If you have the Azure OpenAI resource, you can bring that in to help you to generate the training data. So let's go next. So this is a quick demo. Because of the time, I know like there are a lot of things, so I'm not going to play this video, but later on I'll give you a link where you can find all the demo videos, and actually more demo videos that you can explore regarding to the services. And here this is the data labeling page in the Language Studio. And as I mentioned, you can bring your own Azure AI resource here and select an intent you defined in the Language Studio, and then to generate the suggestions. Similar to the custom AR, like the AI model will automatically suggest some of the training utterance for each of the intent in the Language Studio, and then you'll be able to review that and either approve or decline the suggestions. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can consider the CLU together with the Azure OpenAI service for the conversational scenario. And there are some way for it to orchestrate between the CLU that provide the intent identification and also entity extraction, and also with the Azure OpenAI to complete your end-to-end conversational scenario. And usually like the intent identification, because all of those intent is predefined based on your own business. A benefit for that is if you have a set of the top intent that used commonly by your customers, that'll be good to like leverage the CLU to predict those intents, because it will be in a very consistent way to classify that into the bucket that you defined. And then it provides a more predictable way for you to to track and monitor all of those top intent. If you want to control the absolutely like quality, to track the deflection rate and to track the performance for those ones. And not mention it's also much faster. And based on those top intent, and also it helps to extract those entity values, you can further implement your task completion and trigger the custom business flows, etc. And then in the chatbot scenario, there's always the long tail of the customer questions that's very hard to implement, because there are a lot of things and the traffic for each may not be that much. And here we have the question answering scenarios, and the recommendation is to leverage the Azure OpenAI on your data. So if any of those questions, the answer can be found from your knowledge base articles, then the Azure OpenAI on your data provide a very easy way for you to connect with your document library and the knowledge base articles, and then to start answering the customer questions. And of course, like you can also add some other custom logic if you want. And last but not least is a quick update regarding to the CLU that is integrated into the Copilot Studio, which is previously known as the Power Virtual Agent. Because the CLU service we're talking about here provide a much higher quality regarding to the intent triggering, and also the entity extraction, plus the multilingual support. So with the CLU, and you can leverage all of those benefits, and then to integrate your project, easily connect your project into a Copilot or the PVA bot in the Copilot Studio. So next is about the data anonymization. And especially with the large language model, we do see more and more customers would like to make sure the sensitive information is well protected. And here we provide the PII detection skills in Azure AI Language. So simply speaking, like the PI detection will help to detect any sensitive information as predefined by our own model. So you don't need to train a PI model yourself. And also, in addition to the extracted PI entities and values, it also returns the redacted text. So here on the right side, at the bottom, you can see an example here. And of course, you can also customize the masking characters you would like to be redacted in the redacted text. It's all supported by the API. And in addition to that, we also optimize the scenario regarding to the speech transcription and provide the specialized model as part of that API service. We call that conversational PI. And you can imagine in the speech transcription, some of the information is not in the same way as you can see from user typing in the text. So for example, in the sample text here, it includes a phone number. And when people are talking about that in the call, and then the any speech service to transcribe that, it may be transcribed into the English words or into any other language of the words instead of to provide the digits. So it's completely in a different format when people are typing in the text. And the conversational PI with that specialized speech transcription model provides a way to well detect this kind of the situation and provide a better quality from the speech transcription. So here are all the supported categories, including 4 buckets, including the basic PI information and any government or country region specific PI information, the financial information, and also specifically for the Azure sensitive information. And one thing to mention is that for the region support, in addition, on this slide, I list all the US related region information, but also actually supports more than 30 countries and regions with more than 90 PI entities across those regions. So you can get the full list of all the supported categories from our documentation, where I'm going to share the link at the end of the session. And the last thing to quickly mention is currently in the private preview, where we provide the native document support. So what it means is that some of the scenario you may have a document in PDF or in Word, etc. You want the sensitive information in those documents to be masked directly instead of to just have a plain text to be docked, and then you have to do a lot of pre-processing, post-processing. And the native document format support provide the capability allow you to input directly a native doc like PDF Word, and then the language API will do all the data processing for you, and then also do the PI detection and redaction, and then to return directly the native document back to you. So you're going to get a PDF and Word doc with all of those sensitive information masks from those docs. And in addition to that, in the JSON payload, it also still provides you a pair of the extracted entities and values and offset locations where you can link back to those masked information from the native doc. So the last scenario, very quick, is about the document search. And here, it's all about using the Azure Search and plus some of the modules to help the customers and for the users to easily find the right information they want. So in the language AI, in the Azure AI language, one is about the document summarization and another is about the key phrase extraction. So for the document summarization, we provide both the abstract summarization, that is to completely rewrite the long document into a short paragraph, and we'll also provide the extracted summarization, that is to extract a few key sentences from the document. And how long you want those documents is completely can be configured. And in addition to that, for the extracted summarization, it also provides the offset location. So it means that if you want to implement any experience, allow user to look into a key sentence and then quickly jump into the doc to the location where that sentence is located, you can also do that. And then the benefit for users, they can go further to start reading from where they are interested. And from like there's also a new release in the Ignite last year. We call the query-based customization. That is through the API, you can define any point of interest where like the key points you would like the summarization to summarize into the return text. So for example, for a like the healthcare documentation as an example here, if you want only focus on the specific talking about the generative AI in healthcare, you can provide that key points in the query base, and then it will return everything regarding to the generative AI as mentioned in the healthcare domain. And next is about the key phrase extraction. So that's been a like a long history of the natural language processing to extract all of those key phrases is identified from a document. So it can be short text, it can be long text, and again, they also support multiple, like close to 100 of the languages. And usually we see a lot of customers, they are using the key phrase extraction together with the search index to help optimizing the search index and to return a better search result. So that's everything in all the scenarios we're talking about here. And this is just a quick recap. As you can see, we're basically touch 4 scenarios, and with all like some of the key capabilities we provide today in the Azure AI language. And of course, there are more scenarios in the market today. And if you see any scenarios you're interested, I'm always like open and would like to talk with you as well and to learn about your scenario and anything that we can do to make the language service more useful for your scenario as well. And there's one more very quick thing just to mention here is we also have a health domain specific model called text analysis for health. So this is for the healthcare, especially some of the customers, if you have the doctor notes, you want to like identify like or like a clinic conversation between patient and doctor, you want some capability to do the text analytics to identify those medical related entities. And this is the skill that for you. And in addition to the entity recognition, it also provides the relation extraction between different entities to show what is the relation between 2 entities. And also for each of the entity, it provides the entity linking to help the disambiguation. And it will link to the medical care, the knowledge source. And also support the assertion detection between like certainty, conditional, association, etc., to further help the doctors to confirm what exact type of the assertion it is in the medical care domain. And for now, it supports 7 languages, and we're also looking for more customer signal to support more languages in the future for sure. So this is a quick demo about that. Again, like because of the time, I'm going to skip that. But the good news is you can find all the information from the links here for all the demo videos. And in addition to the ones I included for today's session, there are more demo videos you can look at and which you can find in the aka.ms language videos. And there are some other links where you can find our detailed documentation regarding to the number of the languages supported, the categories for like NERs, PI, etc., and there are more. So that's the end of the session. And I'm going to give that back to you, Sammy.
Thank you so much, Xiaoying, for this nice overview of all the services within the AI language services of Microsoft. Now, for me, the interesting one I did not know was the combination of the large language models with the CLU services of Microsoft. So
Yeah.
is it correct for me to understand that when you can build the service or adapt the service that way that when you send a message to CLU, it detects if it needs to go to an intent detection or it needs to go to OpenAI to generate an answer, for example?
Yeah, exactly. You can consider CLU as a AI module that can help you to better route the user utterance based on their intent. And the benefit for that is if you do want to have high quality to track some of the non-intent, you really care because some of the customer, they have a few top intents that actually takes around like 70-80% of the traffic, and they do want to make sure those ones are well handled by the chatbot. So those ones will be good to track by a smaller custom model like the CLU model to route those intent to the specific, like the dialog flow. It can be your predefined custom message. It can be the task completion, the business, the automation. It can be anything else. And then for the rest, there's the large long tail of the user intent, especially like the customer can have different types of questions. This is where the large language model, you can go directly to the Azure OpenAI or data to quickly answer those questions. So you don't need to manually authoring the question answer pair one by one. It will certainly take a lot of time to push your solution into the production. So this is a very rough architecture, and of course, in the real case, the full architecture can be much more complicated. Depends on different customers, have different scenarios. And this is actually also a learning. We're learning from the customer in the real adoption that we are talking about the large language model and talking about this model, that model. But when we're talking about a real solution that can work in a high quality with low latency, with the good performance, a lot of times it's actually involve multiple models or modules working together to deliver that optimized solutions.
That's quite interesting. Need to have a look into it more in more detail. Something I'm also playing around with. So, well,
Sure.
Xiaoying, thank you very much for your time and the interesting session. I'm sure we already had some people who was like, can we watch the stream or get the slides? But everything is recorded and available on our YouTube channel, so don't worry about that. With that, we will close our episode for now. We're looking forward to our next episode. And with that, we say goodbye to everyone. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.